follow-up and Q&A. I'm a little bit late, unfortunately, but that's the way it is sometimes. You can't win them all always, can you? No, you cannot. So we are holding these meetings and streaming them actually on Mondays, on Wednesdays, and on and on Fridays on different hours, so they fit everyone's schedule. Perhaps they do, perhaps they don't. They are recorded and uploaded to YouTube later on, so you should be good if you want to get into that action. So let's talk a little bit on what has happening and what's going on in Agile Ventures. Let's just push this out on Slack so we can actually see if the notification has been published. If anybody want to join in, they can join in either in Google Meet, or they can also join by looking at Slack, at Twitch, sorry. So we should have, yeah, here's my link. There we go. Also online on Twitch channel. Hop in and say hi. There we go. There's a lot of members on the Agile Ventures chat, where Slack instance. If you're not a member yet, go ahead and sign up, and we can have conversation and communication with each other on Slack. That's amazing. Now, now that I'm at Slack, I see that I posted. I made a post just before lunch. I just came back from lunch, and I am professionally, apart from my engagement and involvement in Agile Ventures, I also have a day job, and I'm trying to put some food on the table with limited success on that, but that's a different story. Now, my students at Craft Academy, they had a 3-week long challenge that we call a Newsroom challenge, and here is a screenshot of a video that I just uploaded to YouTube that I would like you to watch. Actually, it's great. It's their final presentation of that particular project. So I will put the link on in chat. They produced a fantastic little application, or system rather, I would say, not an application, a system that they called fake news. It's their prerogative to choose any name they want and any domain and so on. So they chose this fake news, which is of course a bit, I think it's a bit comical. I think that they are joking. I don't know, perhaps they wanted to build that. Anyway, the system, there's the explanation about what they built, and there are also links to the repositories that they use. It's all open sourced, so if you're into Ruby on Rails development, then check out the API, because that is built on Ruby on Rails. The mobile application that they've built is built in React Native, and they also built a client application, which is the actual news delivery, and then they have an administrative interface in another repository. So there are 4 applications built over the course of 3 weeks. It's pretty amazing. Check it out. I will post a link to this video in chat, so you can take a look at it if you want. So that's one thing that happened. The reason that was out, I mentioned it in the beginning, is because well, first of all, I spotted it on in Slack, but also I am damn proud of these people. I really think that they did a fantastic job. So I want to give them a big shout out, and so on. So please check that out. And if we're lucky, we might have one of them join in and tell us a little bit about the project. I'm actually gonna try to push this out, push this thing out on their Slack. Let's see if we can make that happen. Online on Twitch, talking about your project channel. Join if you want to say a few words. There you go. All right, so that was one thing. Hopefully, some of those guys that are pretty exhausted and tired, they might want to join us, or yeah, and then tell us a little bit about their experience. Who knows? Okay, so that was that. But the other thing about the community, before I get to the biggest thing that I really want to push out, is the fact that we've made some significant progress on the community website that we are running, and that is of course this website that you see here, AGILEVentures.org. I was appointed a CEO, or chief executive rather, it's called, of this charity a month ago, and one of the first things I wanted to do after returning back to this organization, I've been away for a few years because of a small little schism between me and the previous management, but it wasn't really that bad. But I took a step back, focused on other things in my professional life, and now I'm back at Agile Ventures, trying to do as much good as I can and share with my knowledge about how to build software and run projects. And I think this community has a lot to give. However, what I found was that this website that is built on Ruby on Rails, and it started out in Ruby on Rails version 3 point something, then moved on to 4, then 5, and it has been developed by a lot of people over the years, but it was in a pretty bad shape. Not much has happened since mid 2020, even though there was a very low activity on that, and I decided to do a little bit of spring cleaning. And what better way to do that than just jump right into the whole thing and make an update or upgrade to the latest release of Ruby on Rails. So I did that. I took upon myself to do that, and that was a little bit more than I could chew. Holy shit, yes, that's what I said. Holy shit. I couldn't really live with that, but fortunately I'm in good company here at Agile Ventures. So we were able to pull ourselves together and collaboratively make this happen. So we, me and a few other guys, and I think the shout out should go out to Piotr in Krakow and Nick in somewhere in the United States, I think. We worked on this over a period of 27 days, asynchronously, of course, and managed to actually make this happen. And the PR is massive, 96 commits, almost 1600 or more than 1600 files being changed or affected by this. Small changes, most of them, but also big ones, big refactorings, and we got it merged, and deployed. So I'm pretty happy about that. This leaves us in a state where we can focus on they can focus on new features and taking this website into new heights and let go of some of the legacy stuff, some of the outdated UI designs perhaps, and so on. Focus on new relevant functionality and create in a situation where this website is actually the center of attention of our community members, and where we can get a lot of work done. Hello UT, здравствуйте. I hope you are good. Thank you very much for the kind words about the project. The guys are really happy, and so am I. And I'm going to enable the chat if in case more people want to say something. Take a look at that recording that I linked. It's truly remarkable. And also, I know that you are working with React, so there are a few repos, 2 React repositories and 1 React Native. So you can probably read through that code and perhaps pick up some interesting things. Oh yeah, you did already. That's great. I'm thankful for that. So big merge and big deployment on the website. 1 project, really nice. And working with legacy code is always a hustle. Making big updates is always a problematic thing to do. And also, since this is a very old project, it's community built, there are different coding standards that have been followed or not followed and so on. And I kind of initiated this refactoring to try to normalize a little bit of this very diverse code. Didn't make it all the way through in this PR, but we started that work. So hopefully we will do a little bit of improvements here and there over the course of the months to come. And I'm really proud. I'm proud of myself, and I'm proud of my fellow community members that can just roll up the sleeves and get to work and don't bitch about anything that comes in our way. And yeah, I want you to know that a lot of things actually did come in our way. I think out of the 5,000 something tests that are being run in this application, 80% of them were failing when we started out this journey with the upgrade. But we pulled through and we made it happen, and I'm really happy about that. So that's good. Moving on to another topic. We just updated the website with some information about our training program. So Learn with Agile Ventures, and during this summer, we haven't yet set the date on where that's going to start, but during this summer you can enroll in a course together with us and learn the basics of web development, and that will I will talk a little bit more about that. But I see that we have Luke with us. Luke, if you want, you can hop in and tell us a little bit more about the project that you just finished at Craft Academy. I was just pushing out that recording, and at least UT thinks you did a great job. So you can jump in and reap the rewards, reap the glory, or benefit from the glory of being a famous developer now. No, I'm kidding. But it's truly a great job you did. Of course, finish it up. Join in. In the meanwhile, I'll be talking more about this training program. Now, for us at Agile Ventures, we've always identified the best way of learning to work on real projects, and we strongly believe that it is. We kind of built the entire community around 2 missions. One, to provide good learning environment for our members, meaning that we have interesting projects to work on, both internal projects but also external, and also to help the second part of our mission is to help other charitable organizations or non-governmental organizations to and help them to build their IT infrastructure, software support for whatever charitable things they are doing. And that has worked out pretty well for us. We've had a lot of these kind of projects, and we've talked to several or dozens of charitable organizations that helped them out in one way or another over the years. But we've also noticed that we attract a lot of people to our community that are perhaps not really mature enough to start working on real client projects. So we've always had internal projects. For instance, the Website One project that I spoke about just a minute ago, which is the website of the community, has always been a good first project for people to start working on, until it became really complex, because it grew. There's a lot of functionality, and it became very hard for people to be able to get into. And so we started some other projects, some other smaller things. But we have to take a step back and look on these things, like how do people learn? I think that as a community we can attract a lot of very seasoned, experienced developers, and we need to offer them something. So that would be the client projects for other charities, for instance. Then we need to be able to attract people that are not as fluent, or they don't perceive themselves as being very fluent in software development. Well, we need to have projects for them. Website One could be one of them. If we can lower the complexity, we can do other stuff. But we also need to provide people with an ability to grow into being able to work on projects. And I think that providing training is a good thing to do. Now, back in the days, I think it was 2014 or 15, we did create a course that was supposed to elevate members to become teaching assistants on other courses, right? So we talked about communication, how to work in agile methodologies in education, and how to facilitate meetings and all of that stuff. So it was a very successful, very good initiative. And back then we were supporting an online massive online course, or whatever they're called, MOOCs, from University of California, based on or delivered over the edX platform. And so we only dealt with how to become a good teaching assistant, and not with the training itself that was delivered by two professors from Caltech. But that kind of got me thinking, and I was like, I was really convinced that Agile Ventures could or should play a role as an educator as well, and deliver courses. And that didn't happen. That wasn't part of the strategy back then. But when I came back to this organization now, one of my things that I really wanted to discuss with the board was that could we move into teaching, because I think there's so many things we can do with that. And one of the arguments against that was that there is so many great learning opportunities out there already, and we don't necessarily have to or even can compete with Udemy courses, all the tutorials on YouTube, but also free code camp and all of that stuff. And my take on this is as follows. I think we can, and I also think we should, because we have something that is very unique, and that is the person-to-person interaction. We do not have to deal with pre-recorded courses or just online tutorials. What we can do, given the community of people that we have behind us, is to deliver coach-led, crowd-sourced learning experiences, where we have some professional trainers and coaches. We have professionally developed course materials and curriculums, but we deliver that using community members mixed with professional coach support. And I think that is a fairly unique take on this. Blended learning. We will leverage on e-learning techniques and technologies, but we will never forget that people need support from real people. That's the unique component for us, which feels very strange to talk about, because traditionally all training was conducted with a teacher and students and so on. And do not misunderstand me. I don't want to go back to a very traditional learning experience, because I think there are much better ways to do that today, and you can reach more people and reach better results if you employ new methodologies and new techniques in teaching. But I am not convinced that technology can substitute human interaction, and therefore everything we do at Agile Ventures in regard to training will involve coaches and teaching assistants and people-to-people interaction. And first out will be this summer camp 2021, where we will take 10 community members and have them as active participants on a coach-led curriculum and through a coach-led program, and have them develop new skills for the benefit of themselves to kickstart their careers, but also ask them to stick around and share their experience so that they can in turn function as teaching assistants and or coaches in the next iteration of this program. And I think that is a very good strategy and a very good first step to take, fairly agile or lean, if you want to take that. It's basically a pilot. And having said that, just because we will limit the participation to 10 students, we want to do this in an open process. So everything we will be doing in that training program will be streamed live on Twitch, recorded and uploaded to YouTube, and everyone will gain access to course materials and a learning management system online, where they can access all the different parts and chapters of the program, and the code examples and challenges and so on, so forth. So I'm really looking forward to delivering this. It will be a 9-week-long instructor-led training program, a lot of web technologies, a lot of agile methodologies and so on, delivered by me, of course, and 2 assistant coaches over the course of this summer. So if you think that this is something for you or for somebody that you know that could potentially benefit from a program like this, don't hesitate to invite them to this. I am available at thomas@agileVentures.org, but we will accept applications on a specific email address that is called applications@agileventures.org. So go ahead and submit your application. So that's the big initiative from us this summer, and hopefully you will stick around and either become an active student or at least audit the course with us on Twitch. Talking about courses, I have a guest, Luke, from a long-time listener. There you go.
Hello.
And a student of mine at Craft Academy, and I was just pushing the fact that you guys delivered this fantastic project over the course of 3 weeks, and I don't think people believe me when I say that you managed to build 4 applications over 3 weeks, both 2 clients, 1 API, and 1 mobile application. Tell us, am I lying to my viewers, or is this actually true?
We definitely built 4 applications. I guess you could also say that we didn't do normal working hours either.
You certainly did not.
We've definitely averaged a good 12, 13, even 40 nowadays sometimes, without fail. But we're trying to learn here, so putting those hours in isn't an issue. But it's also been fun. It's not been a chore. There's been some fun moments and some headaches and some hair pulling, but it's all been worth it.
I bet it's all about the team, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's the project that you can't build by yourself in 3 weeks. No way.
Absolutely.
Uh,
One of the core principles of Agile, and it's mentioned in the Agile Manifesto, but also in the Software Craftsmanship
mm,
Manifesto is, and I can't really quote, but on top of my head, but I think it says something about building uh, the necessity of building projects around
mm,
motivated and engaged people.
yeah.
And is it fair to say that this is exactly what you guys had this time around?
Yeah, definitely. We're all super engaged. We've all had our own ideas. We've also talked them through. We've all done, we've all voted on what we think's good and how difficult they can be. So
Mhm.
we've definitely followed those aspects. But yeah, it's been a good one. It was, I think Siva said it during our meeting earlier, was it's proud of what we delivered.
Mhm.
Definitely proud. There's a lot of satisfaction
Mhm.
compared to what we have delivered before.
I can tell you that I am proud of you, and I feel a sense of excitement. So I can only imagine, and I'm your coach. I wasn't even involved in building this project, but so if you know, if you feel, I mean, you should feel more than I feel, and I feel a lot. So it's awesome.
Yeah,
It's been a great pleasure to work with you guys on all of this,
yeah, it's
and
been
then to see the results. Now you used um, two main. So you use JavaScript based frameworks, of course, right? React and
yeah,
React Native for the clients,
yeah,
and you built your API on Ruby on Rails. What
yes.
is the if you could attempt to explain the biggest difference between working back end front end and also back end in Rails, and I mean totally different language than you use on the front end, for instance.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously learned, was it Redux in the first week of the project of this project. I think that did a lot for what chain back and forth, because you can sort of build sort of like the root reducers and the state in sort of almost a similar way that you would build a controller.
Hmm.
And that was kind of a nice thing. It made jumping back and forth, I found, a bit simpler. However, there are some definite differences between JavaScript and Ruby. So when you're doing your, you know, sort of dot functions or whatever in JavaScript, and then you try and pass them over into Ruby, or the other way around, and you go, "This works," and you go, "No, it doesn't.
No,
I
it
mean,
doesn't.
I'm in the wrong language."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Especially if they're quick turnarounds. I mean, we weren't as scheduled like the last week and a half. We hopped around. Everyone was like, we our teams were much more should we say together in terms of also fast in who we were. And so
Hmm.
I spent a lot of time with Lucas and Arun, and I know the other guys were with who they were for about a week, I think.
Hmm.
So there was a lot of jumping back and forth. When we brought in native as well, we didn't have enough team members to be able to split
Hmm.
up
Yes,
between
yes, of
all.
course.
So a lot of the time, the API team would also work on the admin team because they were often the biggest team. We had the more people working on the API one,
Hmm.
so they would also jump to the admin, and that I think that was doing that now and then, sort of just jumping between them within a day. You'd go, oh no, what language am I in?
Cool,
What am I
cool.
testing here? Um, or you sort of, yeah, you try to write sort of, CY get in RSpec, or those sorts of things.
I bet, I bet, I bet. Tests across the board, both in the back end and in the front end.
I love RSpec.
Hmm.
It's a fantastic tool. It's it's really descriptive. It's like, this is wrong. Go check this out. Okay, and then Cypress can either be kind of descriptive, or it can just say that there's something wrong in your application.
Hmm. Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Thanks, Cypress.
Thanks. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Well,
But native, yeah, we struggled a bit on that. I think we were meant to take it with you this morning in Scrum, but testing GPS location,
hmm.
we couldn't quite work out to do that with the native app, because it's obviously there's no window object in native. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we may have jumped that one. We actually tested tested the sad path in that one, but not the
Okay,
happy
okay.
path.
Well, that's great. I guess is that there's a lot of war stories and
Yeah.
experiences from that. Mike, I see that you're here. Good day. How you doing, Mike?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Good to see you, Luke. And
I see,
yeah, a
Mike.
great conversation you guys are having. Yeah. I bet it's about a project you've worked on, Luke. Um, yeah,
Good stuff.
yeah. Good to see you
Make
again.
make sure to watch the recording. They not only did a great job coding this thing, they also made a very good and professional, I would say, presentation of how it is. Um, given
Right.
the domain, fake
Yeah,
news, they
just to
played
put
a
that out there. Put that out there. We in no
Oh
way.
yeah. So this is the fake news thing you just shared on.
yeah, I
Just shared
did.
on.
Yes, I
Yeah,
did.
I
Yeah,
saw
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, nice.
So Luke just wants to make a disclaimer here. He's
Yeah,
not a Trump. He's
yeah,
not a
exactly.
Trumpster.
None of the guys that worked on this in any way believe any of the stuff we wrote.
All right, good.
Yeah.
I have a question from UT on time-wise, how time-consuming the course is, like per day, and that's a very good question. Let me just tell you that what will happen here. The time if we're talking about not the course that Luke is attending, but the summer course that we will be delivering through Agile Ventures. Let me just answer that question, guys. The general idea is that there will be instructor-led training sessions twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Then will be approximately an hour and a half, but knowing myself, they will probably 2 hours because I have a tendency to speak too much. And then on weekends we will have instructor-led support sessions, which is like a little bit of co-study or sessions, or Q&A sessions, or what have you. Now, so that's not too much, right? But I would say that the pace will still be rather high, and there will be a need to do a lot of self-studies and or pair programming sessions with other students. We will encourage that a lot. So you need to sync yourself together with other participants, because we have a very ambitious agenda, and we want to reach quite a few highly set learning goals. So if you can make it into almost a full-time endeavor, then that's good. But I would say perhaps 25-30 hours a week minimum of study time and pair programming time in this thing that we will be delivering through Agile Ventures. Now, if you were my regular boot camper, Luke, how many hours a week do you put into this now?
I don't know, probably 60, if not more.
60. Well,
I mean,
I would say more. If you say 12, so let's say you average. Say you average
I was,
10,
try, I
and
was trying to make,
that's 7 days a week.
I was trying to make it sound nice.
Yeah. So no, but something between 60 to 70 hours a week, right? Something like
Yeah.
that, right? Yeah. And I think it's taking a toll on you now, right? You're in week 10.
Yeah, tired. It'll be definitely nice to sleep after graduation.
Yeah. The problem is that you have a capstone project coming up, right? Final project coming
Yeah,
up.
exactly. So
So
there won't be much sleep going on now these next 2 weeks.
So Mike, would you say that 25-30 hours for our summer camp would suffice? Would that be enough?
Yeah, but of course it will take more. Of course, 25 hours could get you going, but that individual motivation to give more, you'll always find yourself enjoying it and giving more time, more than the 25 hours that we are probably proposing. So yeah, and
Absolutely.
it makes you better faster. Yeah.
Usually we say that the more you put in, the more you get out of it, right? The more time and effort you put into this endeavors, the more rewards you can reap afterwards. It's gonna be fantastic. Gonna be fantastic. So if you want to learn about agile methodologies, more software as a service, theory and practice, back-end development, front-end, and so on, make sure you send off a letter to us or an email to us at applications@agileventures.org, or ask us any questions you want to ask on Slack. That's perfectly fine. There was a little bit of sound issues on Twitch, I'm being told by some viewers, but let's hope that they get the message. Enroll in our course. That's the thing. Right, Mike, I was also telling the good people that are listening in to us that we did a massive PR, and I was telling Luke about this and the other students the other day. 1,635 files changed, a massive amount of code added, 96 commits. That was a very big undertaking. What do you say, Luke?
My computer was actually freezing when I was going to mark that PR. Like my browser would hang and I would do nothing else but wait, so that I could be able to click on the approve button and merge it. So it took me like 20-30 minutes to get everything merged, because it was huge. Yeah.
It was kind of funny. We asked Mike for a code review on this one, and back then it was only 1,300 files, because once we were done and all the tests were passing green, it was 1,300 plus something. And then I ran the whole thing through a validator called Robocop that checks Ruby syntax and then best practices. And Robocop has a fantastic feature on it. You can take that with you, by the way, Luke, because you can do automatic updates with Robocop. So what it does is that it reads through your code, and if you allow it, you pass in a flag, basically, automatic fix, so I just pass in an A flag on the command. It actually makes changes to your code. So when I put this, I run this application through Robocop 3 or 4 times with slightly different settings, and it changed another. Well, it fixed like 4,000 different issues, and it added 300 plus more files changed to the PR, and it can feel a little bit overwhelming, I guess, Mike, to code review 1,600 files, doesn't it?
Oof.
Yeah, but that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But having said that, Mike, I still have an issue with Code Climate, and I don't know if you've seen this tool, Luke, but Code Climate is an online tool that can measure your test coverage, similar to what coveralls do, but it can also assess code quality. And Website 1 has an A in terms of code quality, but there are still a lot of issues that we need to hammer out. And my problem, Mike, is that I don't think I have a proper Robocop setup, or perhaps I do. No, I don't, on this tool, because you see, I get this unrecognized string chars found in Robocop YAML. Do you understand? So I don't think Robocop is kicking in properly. So we're gonna have to look at this at some point.
Okay.
To this setup.
Yeah. You'd want that just to work automatically. Without. But probably it's just the setup.
It's probably that. And I did also reinstated coveralls. I think somebody removed that. We had that originally on this project, but with that got lost. So we are on 90% test coverage at this point. So that is pretty okay.
Okay.
This view here in coveralls is a little better, in my opinion, than on Code Climate. Because we can actually see the test coverage on a line by line basis on every controller. So if you take a look at the event instances controller, for instance, that has pretty low test coverage. It's only 34%. So we can see what part of the code are actually not being tested. So we probably want to use that for that, to do a little bit of tests, write a little bit of tests for these untested parts. I like coveralls a lot, but I do also like code climate, and it doesn't hurt to have both of them set up for this project, actually.
Yeah. Normally, I think they do. I think what Code Climate helps with sometimes is to tell you if you are having duplicate code that maybe you can do some refactoring on, or maybe your naming styles are not good enough, or things that you can refactor to make it look cleaner. Which is normally very required. And then with code climate coveralls will tell you what parts you are not testing.
Exactly.
And
they are overlapping a little bit in terms of, because code climate also tells you about test coverage, but not really on as detailed level as coveralls. So it's good to have both.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And coveralls doesn't deal with coverall doesn't deal with code quality at all, only with test coverage. So that's a really good thing. And then look, this is definitely something you guys can take with you into the final project to set that up, because if I'm not mistaken, Code Climate can also help you with JavaScript and React applications, so you can put your code through that. And a rule that we have on website 1, a rule that I broke actually last week, is that we have Code Climate as a required check on before code is mergeable. Understand? Right? So, but since Code Climate wasn't set up properly, I bypassed that anyway. We just merged this nonetheless. But you can set up like both Code Climate in terms of code quality, but also coveralls or Code Climate in terms of test. That if somebody submits a PR and the test coverage is lowered, then you just don't accept it. You just say no. We need you to at least maintain the same level of code coverage or increase it. We cannot allow you to lower it. And this is something that only automated tools can do, because you can't calculate code coverage yourself. You could potentially, but it's you don't have to do it.
I think we need a few more months in our boot camp.
Exactly. But these kind of rules are great, that somebody submits, you see that on CI, on continuous integration, everything is passing, great stuff, but another metric, another KPI could be, hold on a second, we had 90%, and now we only have 89. What happened? This means that whatever new code was being added is not tested, because otherwise it wouldn't be lowered, right? So we you can use that for that, I would say.
Cool.
Right. And UT got a C on maintainability on your own project. I was getting that in chat. Then you're gonna have to do some refactoring, of course. You're gonna have to do some refactoring. But that would pretty much conclude our community update. Is there anything you want to add, Mike?
No, I think I was late. I missed a lot already. Yeah, I think everyone just go and watch that video that was shared earlier. I am sure you do it. Yeah, I'm going to watch it as well. And awesome. I'm going to. Yeah, thank you.
And for those of you guys who doesn't know who Mike is, he's a community organizer at Agile Ventures. Great guy, has been with us for over a few years now, doing great job. You're based out of Kisumu in Kenya, right?
Yep, Kisumu, Kenya.
Kenya. That's awesome. And Mike is involved. You do, and correct me if I'm wrong, you do Ruby on Rails, you do front end, but you also do Elixir and Phoenix and explore some new stuff.
Yep, Python with Django.
Python, yep.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm all over the place. Sort of, it's not a good place to be, but So I find myself.
There you go. There you go. Cool. Glad that you're putting your code through Code Climate UT 61. Then at least somebody picked up something from this session. That's awesome. Luke, thank you very much for dropping by. And Mike, thank you for joining us as well. The community follow-up and Q&A will be back on Friday, but before that we have a few upcoming events. Mike, you will be doing this algorithm mob also on Friday.
Yes. We'll be doing that algorithm mob on Friday. I was having a chat with Okoth. He also plans to join the same. So yeah, currently we are doing some lead code stuff, just going through a question from lead code. We get that question, try to solve it, and yeah, that's what we do in that mob.
Awesome. And then there is another project called SHF in Agile Ventures. They are building a membership site for a Swedish dog owner association, which is potentially a bit weird, but that's what they've been doing over, I don't know, 3 years. So it was started by Susanna. She's actually an ex-alumni of Craft Academy. She went through my course in 2016, I think. And they've been at it. I know that Patrick, Ashley, and Susanna have been working away very actively over the years. So just to reflect back to the discussion you and I had, Luke, together with the others, that projects don't necessarily have to end if you just find something worth doing in the project, if it solves the project. And they've been working away for a long time, always finding a small improvement here and there, learning. But they do have day jobs, and they don't do it professionally, but still, it's an open source project.
Awesome.
And of course, I will be back this weekend doing more smart contracts, Ethereum, blockchain, and so on. That will be fine. And UT, I will get back to you when I can do code review. That will be tomorrow. It's not in the calendar for Agile Ventures, but it's going to be on my stream. UT has a project that he would like us to take a look at, so that will be tomorrow. But I will get back to you on Slack with a more exact time on that. All right, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Take it easy, Thomas.
Peace out. Mike. Peace out.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Bye-bye. So long.